CJ Gardner-Johnson's NFL journey has been anything but predictable. From being a standout at the University of Florida to hopping across multiple franchises in just a few years, his story is as electric and volatile as his personality on the field. And now, once again, his name is swirling in the headlines after being released by the Baltimore Ravens practice squad in what appears to be another surprising twist in a career full of them. But this latest move might actually be opening a door, possibly one that leads right back to Philadelphia. Let's take a step back. Gardner-Johnson was originally drafted in the 4th round of the 2019 NFL Draft by the New Orleans Saints. Many believed his talent warranted a higher selection, but pre-draft rumors and some question marks around his attitude caused his stock to slip. Despite the drop, he quickly carved out a role on the Saints' defense, becoming known for his aggressive style, chirping at opponents, and his versatility in the secondary. Whether lining up at nickel or safety, he brought that edge, that fire, that every defense wants but not every locker room can handle. He didn't just talk the talk either. During his time in New Orleans, he became part of a defense that consistently gave Tom Brady fits, something few teams could brag about. His on-field battles with Brady and others made headlines, including the infamous scuffle with the Chicago Bears wide receiver. That edge made him loved by fans and hated by opponents, and sometimes maybe even his own teammates. Then came the trade that first brought him to Philadelphia in 2022. The Eagles needed help at safety, and Gardner-Johnson filled the void immediately. And not just as a stopgap, he flourished. In only 12 games, he snagged 6 interceptions, tying for the league lead, despite missing time due to a lacerated kidney. That stretch was arguably the best of his career, and he became a vital cog in the Eagles' Super Bowl run. His ability to make plays, energize the defense, and bring a swagger that hadn't been seen since the days of Brian Dawkins made him an instant fan favorite in Philly. But after the Super Bowl loss to Kansas City, Gardner-Johnson entered free agency and chose to sign a 1-year deal with the Detroit Lions. It didn't go as planned. Injuries derailed his season, limiting him to just a few appearances. And just like that, he was on the move again, this time back to Philadelphia in 2024. It was a reunion that made perfect sense. The Eagles' defense had lost its identity in 2023. It was soft, lifeless, and lacked leadership. CJ brought back the fire. He brought back the juice. And for a moment, it looked like the magic was back. Then, just when fans thought he was here to stay, he was traded again, this time to the Houston Texans in exchange for guard Kenyon Green. At first, the move seemed logical. Houston's head coach DeMeco Ryans is a defensive mind who values aggression and versatility, and CJ fits that mold on paper. But it didn't last. After a brief stint and only a handful of games, another injury set him back. Then came the unexpected release. No warning, no build-up, just a transaction wire notification that he was out in Houston. So what happens next? He signs with the Ravens practice squad. And ironically, the same player he was traded for, Kenyon Green, was also stashed on that very same practice squad. And now both are gone. Gardner-Johnson, released once again, but this time under the explanation of a mutual parting of ways, according to his agent. That could mean anything. But shortly after the news broke, CJ took to social media with a heartfelt post thanking every team, coach, and fan base he's crossed paths with. He emphasized his passion for the game, his growth as a person, and his desire to continue playing football at the highest level. There was a moment where the tone of his post made people wonder, was he about to retire? But no. Buried in the message was a clear indication that he's not done. Not even close. If you look between the lines, it's pretty clear he's trying to rebuild his image. Over the years, CJ has built a reputation not just as a playmaker, but as a guy who could be, let's say, a handful behind the scenes. He's intense. He speaks his mind. He plays with emotion. All traits that fans love, until it causes friction in the locker room. That's likely part of the reason why teams have been quick to move on from him, despite his obvious talent. But here's the thing. In Philly, it's different. The city embraces that attitude. The fans thrive on it. The Eagles' defense, especially right now, could desperately use that spark again. This isn't just nostalgia talking. The numbers don't lie. In the 2 years CJ has suited up in midnight green, the Eagles have been among the best defensive units in the league. They went to the Super Bowl both times. He has 12 interceptions in just 28 games with Philadelphia. He's not just a role player, he's a difference maker. And it's not just about stats. It's about energy. It's about leadership. It's about having someone on the field who refuses to back down, who refuses to play scared, and who holds his teammates accountable. Just look at what happened in their recent game against the Giants. The Eagles' defense looked soft. They got pushed around. Missed tackles, blown assignments, no pulse. That's not a unit you can trust to make a playoff run. And that's exactly the kind of environment where CJ thrives. His presence forces guys to play with intensity. His trash talk fires up the team. His swagger gives the defense a backbone. This is exactly why fans, and even some analysts, are calling for the Eagles to bring him back yet again. Now, would a third stint in Philly be unprecedented? Not really. Look at the history of sports. Billy Martin was hired and fired by the New York Yankees 5 different times by George Steinbrenner. If that can happen, surely the Eagles can bring CJ back for a third round. And guess what? The signs are already pointing in that direction. After his release from Baltimore, the Eagles quietly cut running back Audric Estime from their practice squad, opening up a spot. They also have an open spot on the 53-man roster following the retirement of edge rusher Zadarius Smith. Coincidence? Maybe, but maybe not. CJ also recently liked a tweet that openly called for the Eagles to bring him back. Not only that, he followed the person who tweeted it. That doesn't sound like a guy who's trying to move on from Philadelphia. That sounds like someone leaving breadcrumbs. Like someone saying, "I'm ready if you are." The only question now is whether the Eagles' front office sees the same value. There are reasons to be hesitant, of course. Injuries have plagued CJ's career. His fiery personality can ruffle feathers. And bringing him back might stunt the growth of younger players like Andrew Mukuba. But the other side of that coin is hard to ignore. Mukuba has struggled in coverage. The Eagles' secondary has looked lost at times. And if this team is serious about competing for another Super Bowl, they need to fix that side of the ball immediately. CJ gives them that opportunity. He can play safety. He can line up in the slot. He opens up flexibility with guys like Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell. He allows the team to put their best 11 on the field, which is exactly what defensive coordinator Vic Fangio is trying to do. And it's not just about scheme, it's about attitude. If the Eagles want to stop being a finesse team and start punching people in the mouth again, CJ is the kind of guy who leads that charge. So, where does that leave us? Well, the ball is in Howie Roseman's court. The Eagles could stand pat, hoping their young guys figure it out. Or they could make a bold move, one that brings a proven playmaker, a fan favorite, and a fiery leader back into the building. Gardner-Johnson seems open to it. The fans clearly want it. And given what we've seen from this defense lately, it might be exactly what the team needs. While the Gardner-Johnson saga continues to unfold, there's another storm brewing in Philadelphia. And this time, it's on the offensive side of the ball. The Eagles, once known for their explosive, creative, and relentless attack, have started to look predictable. And when Lane Johnson, one of the most respected voices in that locker room, publicly mentioned that predictability as a growing issue, it forced everyone to take a closer look. Offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo responded to those comments recently, and while he tried to keep things diplomatic, the undertone was clear. They know something's broken, and they're trying to fix it. According to Patullo, the communication with players like Lane has been strong and constant, whether it's during the week, on off days, or in-game. That sounds great on paper, but it doesn't fully explain the offensive drop-off. Patullo pointed to situational limitations, things like field position, down and distance challenges, and how defenses are scheming against them, as key factors contributing to the offense's lack of rhythm. But none of that really answers the bigger question. Why does this high-powered offense look so flat, so often? The reality is it's not just one thing. It's everything. It's the players not executing. It's turnovers at the worst possible times. It's penalties that kill drives. It's play designs that feel stale. And it's a game plan that rarely adjusts when it's clearly not working. The Eagles have talent. A lot of it. But if you were to look at the numbers, you'd think this was a bottom-tier team. 22nd in points per game. 28th in percentage of drives that end in a score. Near the bottom in yards per carry, yards per pass, first downs, and yards per drive. They also lead the league in 3-and-outs. That's not just bad. That's unacceptable for a team with Super Bowl ambitions. Some of the offensive struggles also come down to the defensive looks they're facing. The Eagles have consistently performed well against man coverage. But against zone, that's been a problem. Jalen Hurts, despite his growth as a passer, still struggles at times with anticipation, touch, and reading the field against more complex zone schemes. And unfortunately for Philadelphia, their next opponent, the Minnesota Vikings, are coached by Brian Flores, one of the more creative defensive minds in football. Flores loves to disguise coverages, bring pressure from unexpected angles, and force quarterbacks into uncomfortable situations. His defense plays zone coverage nearly 80% of the time, which could spell trouble if the Eagles don't clean things up. Against the Giants, Hurts did show some improvement against zone, which is a positive sign. But that needs to carry over, especially against a defense like Minnesota's. If you break down the Vikings' coverage tendencies, they run a lot of cover 2 and cover 3, which are specifically designed to take away deep shots and force quarterbacks to work through their progressions quickly and precisely. That's where Hurts needs to take the next step. He has the arm. He has the weapons. But against zone, it's all about timing, placement, and decision-making areas where he's been up and down. There's also a personnel adjustment that could help both sides of the ball, especially with Zadarius Smith retiring. Jair Brown has shown flashes when used as a pass rusher. On just 23 true pass rush snaps, he's already tallied 6 pressures. That's an impressive rate, and it opens up some possibilities for Vic Fangio. With Smith gone, there's now a chance to use Brown off the edge more frequently, which would allow Nakobe Dean to get on the field at off-ball linebacker. Fangio even acknowledged that this week, saying it's a possibility they'll explore more as they move forward. Getting your best 11 on the field is a necessity right now, and experimenting with those combinations is the only way to find what works. All of this underscores the bigger issue. The Eagles aren't playing complementary football. The defense has looked soft at times. The offense has looked stale. The special teams have been inconsistent. When the Eagles were at their best, everything clicked. The defense created turnovers. The offense capitalized on short fields. Drives were extended by clutch third-down plays, not stalled by penalties and mental mistakes. But now the rhythm is gone, and the coaching staff is feeling the heat. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our Philadelphia Eagles. And don't be shy. Share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Whispers are already swirling through the NFL community after a bombshell revelation that has left fans of the Philadelphia Eagles both stunned and elated. According to sources close to the league, the NFL has officially acknowledged a major officiating error that had previously denied the Eagles one of the most significant titles in recent memory. The confirmation has sent shockwaves through locker rooms, social media, and sports bars alike, as the league reportedly moves to restore the championship to its rightful owners. Details remain murky, as league insiders insist the situation is delicate, but the consensus is clear. A historical mistake has finally been corrected. Rumors suggest that this acknowledgement comes after months of internal review, heated debates among officials, and mounting pressure from Eagles supporters who never let the controversy fade from public discourse. Analysts say this could mark one of the most unusual chapters in NFL history, a moment where the league has effectively rewound the clock to set the record straight. Sources hint that the decision was not taken lightly. The NFL, known for its strict protocols and desire to avoid public embarrassment, apparently reached a unanimous agreement that the Eagles were unjustly deprived of the title in question. While the specifics of how the title will be ceremonially reinstated remain under wraps, insiders suggest a grand celebration could be in the works, possibly during a high-profile game to maximize visibility and fanfare. Fans have already begun speculating on what this means for player legacies. Could this move reshape Hall of Fame discussions? Will former and current Eagles players now carry the distinction of a championship they were once denied? The chatter is deafening. Sports commentators are debating the implications, and social media is flooded with jubilant Eagles supporters declaring this a long overdue victory. While skeptics question whether this is merely a symbolic gesture or a true rewriting of NFL history, the buzz is undeniable. If confirmed in full, this decision not only corrects a past injustice, but also ignites new rivalries and discussions that could dominate the league's narrative for months, if not years. One thing is certain: the Eagles fan base has reason to celebrate, and the NFL's willingness to admit a high-profile error is a rare glimpse of transparency that has already fans talking in hushed, excited tones. The coming weeks will reveal the logistics of the title's official return, but for now, the rumor mills are alive with the possibility of one of the most talked-about corrections in sports history, an acknowledgement that might finally put the Eagles back where they were always meant to be, at the top. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Philadelphia Eagles, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.